So when it comes to an outlook over the next 5 to 10 years, it's pretty hard to guess what's happening there. So what we see is that the whole industry changed a lot to Kubernetes instead of just containers. I think that's what we saw over the past. I can remember that the big venues around this were DockerCon and stuff like that, and now we have KubeCon. And KubeCon is not only KubeCon anymore, it's the Cloud Native conference. So I may see that the industry change a bit in not just relying on the bottom layer of it, and I think Kubernetes is like the main part that we have there for managing different kinds of infrastructure, but we also go up to the higher levels. So when we're talking the OZ network model, I think we're currently at layer 4, and we're taking care of the top layers now. So it will probably change more to how can we optimize things, how can we get rid of things that we built in the past and can adopt new technologies. I think you see many of these changes happening already. If you look at VMware, for instance, I would say they change a lot more of their management platforms to be Kubernetes native management. So we have like a reliable cluster infrastructure there. We have like masters and something that is expandable and pluggable. So I would say that many of the vendors would change to adopting Kubernetes as a base and then build their module on top of that. And I think that will happen over the next 2 to 3 years probably. And if we look forward to 5 to 10 years, I see that the workload that we are scheduling might change. So currently it's like just containers, right? OCI containers, mostly Linux-based. There is something niche for Windows also, but it's not that we see like a broad adoption in this. And what we also see is like with things like KubeVirt and the evolvement of the things that VMware does and what SUSE does and all the other adopters like Kubernetes, also like Mirantis that we see here, they try to bring in their virtual machines and scheduling those into the management of Kubernetes. And what that means is that we would have different workloads that we schedule there. If we look in WebAssembly with Crustlet and stuff like that, that is a pretty early thing to happen currently, but I expect that different workloads will get scheduled in Kubernetes and Cloud Native as well, and that we have lots of optimizations there. I mean, if you look at the optimization between virtual machines to containers, and then go to serverless or just WebAssembly workloads, I think there's a huge thing, an improvement that will happen over the next years. When it comes to adopting new technologies, I think none of the companies are starting on a green field. So they have their own infrastructure that they maintained over the past 10, 15 or 20 or even longer. And it's always like a decision that they have to make whether to jump into a new technology or wait for others to adopt it to see if it's running and then adopt it. So what I would say, what I would advise someone who is looking into the field of cloud native, make it easy for your engineers to adopt new things. Maybe build some playgrounds which are not as highly regulated as your production environment, so that they can really try things out and see if it brings any value to them. And if it fails, it's nothing bad, right? Bring in like a new culture that allows them to fail and try things out and work on making it easy for them to adopt new technologies. That's something that I would do with I don't know, cloud accounts, with easy to use self-service portals, so that they can have it easy to get a VM, a Kubernetes cluster, or whatever they need to get their new technologies adopted. That's something that I would advise. Getting started with something is always something that companies struggle with. So what I would say is on the regular team of like 20 engineers, you probably have 1 or 2 early adopters. So the people that like to go to conferences, that like to go to meetups and really seeking for influence outside of the company. And those mostly are the 1 or 2 persons that drive new things, that always ask for something to change. And I would see that I would use those early adopters to also drive the change in the team as well. So let them do the first steps. Let them run away, but not as far so that you can't see them anymore. So leave them in range, but let them try out new things. And if that works, bring that change back to the team and work on a way that they can learn things. So probably it could be external trainings, but what's even better if you embrace standards in your company and say, let's say we're talking about Kubernetes, right? So what we could do is work on a Helm chart that helps every of the, I don't know, let's say 15 development teams that all work with Java Enterprise to bring their application to the cluster. And with bringing those standards in, and also with helping them to adopt it, and especially making time for also that training that has to happen, that's something that I would do in the first place. So seek for your influencers or early adopters in your company, give them the ability to try out new things, and if they succeed with something, make sure that they also have the task of bringing the team to the level at which they are. So for us, KubeCon is really about being in the industry and searching for as many new technologies that we have there. So the thing that we bring back is a lot of information about the newcomers that we see here on the market, and also the new technologies that the established partners that we have are in there. And what we also are trying to help our customers with is training. So since the end of last year, we are a Kubernetes trainings partner, and we are always seeking for other technologies here. We bring lots of our engineers here, so we're here with I think 75 people around about from our company, and all of those are bringing in their experience in trying to figure out which are the new topics, so that we can then deliver that information to our customers. And that's something that I would like to tell. We are Kubernetes trainings partner. We help you with all of these topics.